Every October, millions of people carve pumpkins, wear costumes and go trick-or-treating. These seem like modern traditions, harmless fun for kids. But archaeologists have found artifacts proving these customs are thousands of years old, and their origins are much darker than you think. Carved turnips with grotesque faces, ritual masks made from human bones, offerings left for the dead. These aren't Halloween decorations. They're ancient artifacts showing that our scariest traditions have roots in rituals archaeologists still don't fully understand. This is the real origin of Halloween. Halloween's roots go back over 2,000 years to the Celtic festival of Samhain, celebrated on October 31st. The Celts, who lived in what is now Ireland, Scotland and northern France, believed this was the night when the boundary between the living and the dead became thinnest. Spirits of the deceased could cross over into the world of the living, and not all of them were friendly. Archaeologists have found ritual objects from Samhain celebrations dating back to 500 BC or earlier. Ceremonial daggers, offering bowls, bone carvings, stone altars with evidence of animal sacrifice. But the most disturbing artifacts are the carved turnips. Before pumpkins, the Irish and Scots carved turnips, potatoes and beets into lanterns with terrifying faces. These weren't cheerful jack-o'-lanterns. They were grotesque, demonic faces meant to scare away evil spirits. Museums in Ireland and Scotland still have preserved examples from the 1800s and earlier. Shriveled turnips carved with hollow eyes, gaping mouths and twisted expressions. Some have candles melted inside, showing they were actually used. The tradition was simple. Carve a frightening face, put a candle inside and place it in your window or carry it through the streets. The light would ward off malevolent spirits trying to enter your home. When Irish immigrants came to America in the 1800s, they found pumpkins larger, easier to carve, and the tradition evolved into modern jack-o'-lanterns. But the original turnip lanterns? They're genuinely unsettling. And they prove that Halloween's scary aesthetic wasn't invented by Hollywood. It's been part of the tradition for over 1,000 years. Costumes are another Halloween tradition with ancient roots, and the artifacts prove it. During Samhain, the Celts believed that spirits of the dead walked among the living. To avoid being recognized by these spirits, or worse, being possessed by them, people disguised themselves. Archaeological evidence shows they wore masks made from animal heads, bones and hides. They smeared ash on their faces. They dressed in bizarre, frightening costumes to blend in with the spirits or scare them away. Excavations at Celtic ritual sites have uncovered masks made from deer skulls, boar tusks, and even human bones. These weren't ceremonial items for priests. They were worn by ordinary people during Samhain celebrations. The idea was simple. If you look like a spirit, the spirits won't bother you. This evolved into guising in medieval Scotland and Ireland. People would dress up and go door to door, performing songs or tricks in exchange for food. Sound familiar? That's the origin of trick-or-treating. The Roman Empire had its own version of Halloween, the festival of Lemuria, held in May. It was a time to appease the restless dead, the spirits who hadn't been properly buried or honored. Roman households would leave offerings of food outside their doors to keep these spirits from entering. Archaeologists have found offering bowls, plates and containers at Roman sites across Europe, many with inscriptions dedicating them to the dead. When Rome conquered Celtic lands, Roman and Celtic traditions blended. The concept of leaving offerings for spirits merged with Samhain customs, creating a tradition that would eventually become trick-or-treating. Medieval Christians continued the practice, but gave it a new name: souling. On All Hallows' Eve, October 31st, poor people would go door to door offering prayers for the dead in exchange for soul cakes, small round cakes given as offerings. Archaeological evidence of soul cakes has been found in medieval European sites. These weren't just stories, they were real traditions with physical artifacts to prove it. Some of the most disturbing Halloween-related artifacts come from harvest festivals that predated Samhain. Ancient agricultural societies across Europe practiced rituals to ensure good harvests, and some of these rituals involved human sacrifice. Bog bodies, preserved human remains found in peat bogs across northern Europe, show evidence of ritual killings. Many date to the Iron Age, around the same time Samhain was celebrated. These weren't murder victims. They were carefully selected individuals, often killed in specific ways. Strangulation, throat cutting, blunt force trauma, and then placed in bogs as offerings to the gods. Some archaeologists believe these sacrifices were connected to harvest festivals like Samhain. The timing matches, the locations match, and the ritualistic nature of the killings suggests they were part of religious ceremonies. Not all Halloween traditions are this dark, but the artifacts show that ancient harvest festivals often involved blood, death, and offerings to appease supernatural forces. When Christianity spread across Europe, the Church couldn't eliminate these pagan traditions. They were too deeply rooted in the culture. So instead, the Church absorbed them. November 1st became All Saints' Day, a Christian holiday honouring saints and martyrs. The night before, October 31st, became All Hallows' Eve, or Halloween. But the old traditions didn't disappear, they just got rebranded. Carved turnips became jack-o'-lanterns, spirit costumes became trick-or-treat disguises. Offerings to the dead became candy for children. The physical artifacts prove this transformation. Medieval churches built on top of Celtic ritual sites, Christian symbols carved into pagan standing stones, soul cakes shaped like traditional pagan offering bread. Christianity didn't replace Halloween's pagan origins, it just gave them a new coat of paint. Today, Halloween is a billion-dollar industry. Costumes, candy, decorations, movies, it's all commercialized fun. But the artifacts remind us that Halloween's roots are ancient. The carved turnip in a museum case, the bone mask found in a Celtic burial mound, the offering bowl left for spirits over 2,000 years ago. These aren't props. They're proof that our ancestors took Halloween very seriously. They believed spirits walked among them. They carved terrifying faces to ward off evil. They wore disguises to avoid being possessed. And while we don't believe in those things anymore, the traditions survive. Every time you carve a pumpkin, wear a costume, or hand out candy, you're participating in rituals that are thousands of years old. Halloween isn't a modern invention. It's an ancient tradition that never really went away. What's the creepiest Halloween artifact you've seen? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more ancient mysteries and strange archaeological discoveries, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Because sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that are actually real.